Well, I think from the outset we knew we had to have a kick-ass soundtrack because, Christoph Hartmann, who's the president of 2K, was really important to him that we capture the sound of 1960s. Music's a really big deal to him, to me as well, but for him it was like we have to make sure it's an amazing soundtrack. The first song I knew I wanted to get into the game is actually probably a kind of obscure one. It's a song called Desperation by Steppenwolf. I really wanted to get Sympathy for the Devil in. That's another, by the Rolling Stones. That's a favorite of mine. And then Sam and Dave. I think that was also really important to me that we get some representation from Sam and Dave. We definitely were cognizant of the lyrics whenever we were placing, music into any of the narrative moments. I don't think we ever went so far as to try and have the lyrics mirror exactly what was going on at any given time. But there's definitely areas where, like, we have a moment where Lincoln is stalking one of his enemies through a bayou, and this very swampy area, and we played Creedence's Green River there, and it really fits, right? It fits the tone of the moment. It makes you feel ready to get into this kind of mentality of this kind of stalker as you go through forest or through the jungle, through the swamp, the bayou. We have two sets of music in the game, really three if you look at it. There is all the licensed music, obviously things like Painted Black and Sam and Dave and Aretha Franklin and all the great artists of the time. Then we have composed music, and that is kind of in two different buckets. We've got our combat music, which really tracks kind of what you're doing moment to moment in combat, and that was all, again, composed, original score, and we brought together a group to actually perform all the music. It's a lot of guitar, it's a lot of drums, it feels like music at the time. When I look back at some of this music, the way I encountered a lot of it without even realizing it is through covers, right? So there's a song in the game called You Belong to Me from the Duprees. I actually was introduced to that song through the Misfits version of it, which is very, very different. So we went out and we licensed some of the covers as well, so that we could have these kind of really almost discordant moments where it's like, wait, that sounds really familiar, but it's very different. And then when you hear it later, it's much later in the game, and it's when you're kind of bringing to resolution or everything that has happened since that turning point is coming to kind of a culmination or a critical point, and then we play it again, but we play the cover now, which again is very different, but it's familiar enough that you're like, wait, it harkens back,